Hello, and welcome to Capacity Planning and Scaling, Create and Delete Virtual Hosts. During this short video, we will cover virtual host naming conventions, creating virtual hosts, and finally deleting virtual hosts. When creating virtual hosts to serve traffic for your environment, you need to specify three values. A name. Virtual host names represent an identifier. When choosing virtual host names, they should give a quick indication as to their role, but most importantly should be unique within the environment. You can see from the on-screen graphic that here we have two virtual hosts. The first is named Default and serves regular HTTP traffic. The second is named Secure and serves HTTPS traffic. Next is the virtual host alias. A virtual host can actually have multiple virtual host aliases. Most commonly, the fully qualified domain name used to access the service is used. You can also specify a combination of the router or load balancer IP and the listening port using the form IP:port number. The final item is the port number. The port number specified here is exposed on the routers for that virtual host. Virtual hosts must be able to be uniquely identified. This means that you can create virtual hosts with the same alias as long as you use different ports, and virtual hosts with different aliases in the same port, or finally, virtual hosts with a combination of different aliases and ports. When naming virtual hosts, the usual rules around use of special characters apply. The list is shown here on screen. Virtual hosts are created during the normal environment provisioning process. They can also be created manually using the Management API. A typical XML payload used when creating a new virtual host is shown on screen. You can see that the payload is being uploaded using a call that specifies the organization name and the environment name the virtual host is being created for. In the payload itself, you can see the name being set to default, a single host alias being set to myorg-test.apigee.com. If you wanted to create the virtual host with multiple aliases, you would simply include more host alias elements at this point. And finally, we specify the port. When creating a new virtual host using TLS or SSL, additional elements are provided, which include a Boolean flag for enabling TLS, a client auth enabled flag. You would set this to true if you are enabling two-way TLS, and finally two elements specifying the key store and key alias to be used. For more advanced TLS configurations, you can also specify which protocols and ciphers should be supported. Full documentation for creating TLS-enabled virtual hosts can be found at the link shown. Deleting a virtual host follows the same pattern we've seen in previous modules. First, we make a Management API call to get a list of all the virtual hosts defined for an environment. Secondly, we make a separate API call to delete each virtual host we no longer require. Both these calls are shown on screen. This concludes Capacity Planning and Scaling, Create and Delete Virtual Hosts. For more information, you can visit docs.apigee.com, and to get involved in the community, please go to community.apigee.com. Thank you.